Mama, they are waiting.
Oh guys, you're waiting now. So today I'm going to teach you English fillers. I guess you know English fillers, but if you don't know the use of English fillers, then you have to see this video. So let's get started. Hi friends, this is Subham and you are watching Subham Speaks. In this video, I'll teach you how to use English fillers in a more effective way. Say, when you get stuck, I mean to say, when somebody asks you a question and you get stuck, you don't know what the answer is, then what do? You keep mum or simply try to manage the situation? I guess we all try to manage the situation in our own way. The point is how smartly you manage the situation. You can use English fillers to manage this kind of situation. So without any delay, let's get started. Welcome back. The first filler for today's video is, well, you see. This is a very common filler that we use very often. When the answer is not known to you and you need to buy some time, you can simply say, well, you see, and then you can carry on with the answer. Say somebody asks you a question like, today would you like to go for a movie? Now you're not very sure. You don't know what to do. You have some other plannings as well. On the other hand, you don't want to drop the chance of going to a movie. Then you can say like, well, you see, I have some plannings today, but however, I'll try my best to join the movie. So this is how you can simply use this kind of fillers. Just one point, when you say a filler like, well, you see, you have to use it in high intonation. Like, well, you see, or well, you see, this is the way you can say it. The next one is, hang on a moment. When somebody asks you a question or somebody wants to know something from you and you are not ready with the answer, or you could say like, it's a very important question, you don't want to get into any kind of controversy, then you can say like, hang on a moment and then think of the answer and then get back to the listener. This is the way we generally use. So there are a lot of moments, when you can use different kind of fillers. When you see, and the second one, hang on a moment, both these fillers can be used for the same occasion. But we should not be monotonous. So what we can do is, we can use different kind of fillers and we can keep the variation on. That is what we need to do. The third one is, how shall I put it? Say, it's a very controversial question and you don't know actually how to put it. Or say, you don't want to sound very offensive. You know that the answer might offend your listener or your statement might offend your listener. In that case, you can say like, how shall I put it? As if you are not ready to say or you don't want to say, but you have to say because it is your duty. So in that case, you can say like, how shall I put it? As if you are also very sad to say this. Now, moving on to the next one. What's the word for it? Say you've forgotten the word. Okay. And you are as if you are lost. But you have to carry on the conversation. You can't stop somewhere. You cannot keep yourself mum. So what to do? Simply, you can say like this. Okay, what's the word for it? I'm not getting the word. So instead of saying that I'm not getting the word, or instead of saying that I'm falling short of words, you can say like, what's the word for it? For example, say a word like ambidextrous. You have forgotten the word. Now, as you all know, that ambidextrous means one who can use both his hands equally well. Now, you don't have forgotten the word. So what to do? You can simply say, what's the word for it? Well, let's move on to the next filler. It's on the tip of my tongue. At times, we fall short of words or simply we forget. But you have to carry on the conversation. What to do? You can say like, it's on the tip of my tongue. As if it is known to you, but at that point of time, you are not getting the proper word or the proper statement. Then in that case, you can say like, it's on the tip of my tongue. Meanwhile, think of that particular word of statement and get back to the proper answer. So this is also another way of delaying your answer or buying some time from the listener. Now let's move on to the next feeler. Now let me think. This is a feeler that can be used when the question is a very serious one. You don't want to answer to that question at that point of time. You want to avoid that question. But if you simply say that I don't want to answer to your question, it sounds very rough, it sounds very harsh as well. In order to soften down the situation, what you can see, now let me think and take your time, and your listener will also get the answer like he is not ready to reveal the fact. So these are some clues, some tricks to avoid difficult questions, personal questions. The last one, well, that's an interesting question. This is a filler that is generally used in interviews, like in job interviews or some other interviews as well, in a very formal occasion. Somebody asks you a question, say the interviewer asks you a question, and you are not ready with the answer, but you don't want to reveal the fact that the answer is unknown. You need to take some time. What you can do, you can simply appreciate the question like, well, that's an interesting question, as if the question is already known to you. But actually you are doing what? You are just trying to buy some time from the interviewer. Well, these are some of the very common feelers that we use in our daily conversation. There are similar feelers like this as well. You can use these feelers to make your language more smart, effective, and lucid. That's all for today. And if you like this video, please hit the bell button, subscribe this channel, and also share with your friends.